Hello friends, I'm Tushar Kapde. I'm working in Matosri College of Engineering and Research Center, Eklara Nasik as Assistant Professor in Mechanical Engineering Department. Today we are going to see a new subject, that is turbo machine. This subject is included in third year Mechanical Engineering. In first semester, the course code for this subject is 302044. So today's topic is started with unit number 1. The topic of discussion is turbo machine and introduction. This is very essential subject in the point of view to understand basics of turbo machine, a very essential part that is we have not been taught in second year mechanical engineering in the cycle like Rankine cycle of thermodynamics. We have seen there is a kind of device that converts heat energy, or we can say the pressure energy available in the steam, which is get converted into a mechanical energy, and then after that mechanical energy is given to that of your generator to convert it into electrical energy. So until now we have just seen that particular part, turbine, as if a kind of device which converts the pressure energy into mechanical energy. But one more thing is that apart from the turbine there are other devices like pump, compressors and blowers. These are kind of devices which we are using in our day-to-day life, or we can say different types of applications, or we can say industrial to that of your farming applications, aerospace applications. Everywhere there is a kind of, we can say, use of such a type of utilities. So we are going to see all these utilities, all these devices in a very brief way, so that you will get a better understanding of this subject. There are so many questions are being asked in the gate examination on this particular topic, as if turbo machine. So we will start this particular topic further. So before starting this subject, we will just try to understand the motivation of this subject, why we need to learn this subject, or why, what is exactly the need that we are looking for, and why we are looking for this particular subject. So it is started with a kind of word that is what we called as the energy. So what is the energy? Energy is nothing but a kind of ability to do some sort of work, or we can say some sort of, we can say, change in the universe, in the surrounding, or in, we can say, within the system. So this is very important, we can say, a kind of thing that we need to understand. In general way, there are so many definitions are available in books, but apart from that we will see a very simple definition. The energy is nothing but a kind of thing that actually makes mankind's life easier. So what exactly it mean by? So we will see that thing in very brief way. If we are going to take an example of automobile, automobile converts chemical energy which is available in the fuel into a heat energy, and that heat energy then after get converted into a mechanical energy, because of which we can transfer ourselves from one location to the another location. So many of the things which are related to that of your transfer of energy is making our life very easier one. If we are going to take an example of air conditioning system, air conditioning system basically makes us comfortable within the room during summer condition. Refrigerators are used for food conservation purpose. Okay, so there are so many things are there which are related to that of your energy. So energy is nothing but what we call as a thing that is making our life very easier one. There are different forms of energy. Some of the forms of energy I have listed here. Potential energy is nothing but a kind of energy which is available in the, we can say, a kind of working medium which is located at the higher elevation, at the we can say somewhat higher elevation than that of your sea level. Kinetic energy is nothing but an energy which is available in the moving body or moving medium. Pressure energy is nothing but, if we are going to take an example of air which is filled in the tire, it has a kind of energy that is what we call as a pressure energy. Now if we are going to take an example of chemical energy, chemical energy is nothing but a kind of energy which is available in the fuel, as if I have taken an example of automobile. Geothermal energy, in the, we can say, core of earth, there is evidence of, or we can say there is the existence of that is what we call as a lavarus. So that particular thing, because of which we are having a kind of energy, that is what we call as a geothermal energy. And last one is nothing but what we call as the electrical energy. Now apart from all these things, this type of energy is most essential energy in our mankind's life, which actually made our life very easier one. From industrial applications to the farming applications, for different types of locomotives, for different types of aeroplanes, we are using electrical energy almost everywhere. So that thing we are going to study in such a way that what it makes the electricity to be produced. So electrical energy having different types of applications, as if it is very needful form of energy, and we are using that particular energy in almost every application. So we will just differentiate it, that application into two heads: domestic application. In domestic application, television, air conditioner, refrigerator, pumps, or we can say a kind of centrifugal pumps. These things we are using in domestic applications. Fan and air conditioner are used for comfort condition. For domestic application, refrigerator are used for basically reduction of temperature of the food, so that we can preserve that food for a very long time. And pumps are used for we can say lifting water from lower elevation to the higher elevation. Industrial applications, in almost every machine we are using motor as a prime mover. So that motor is nothing but a kind of device which converts electrical energy into mechanical energy. So we have different types of machines and having motor as a prime mover. Different types of cranes are used for basically transportation of heavy material from one location to the another location within that workshop, or we can say workshop shed. So these are some of the typical examples, so that we can get a better idea related to the use of electrical energy. Now we will start this discussion with from where we are actually getting this electricity. So obvious answer is nothing but what we call as a power plant. So in the power plant, from the power plants we are getting electricity as output. So we have three types of power plants. First one is nothing but hydropower plant. In the hydropower plant, water in the dam, obviously it has a kind of energy, that is what we call as the potential energy. That water is supposed to transfer to the turbine, where that potential energies get converted into kinetic energy, and subsequently that kinetic energies get converted into mechanical energy in this device, that is what we call as a turbine. Now after turbine there is a provision of generator, where that mechanical energy is given to that generator to give or to get a kind of energy, that is what we call as a electrical energy. Okay, so this is the first type of power plant. Thermal power plants, this is second type of power plant. In thermal power plant, what will happen? The burning coal has heat energy. That heat energy is given to the water, so that that water is evaporated, and we are getting high pressure steam as an output from the device, that is what we call as a boiler. So this whole thing is actually happening in boiler, where coal is being burnt, then after the heat is given to the water, and we are getting high pressure steam as output from the boiler. Now that high pressure steam is given to the turbine, and that turbine converts that pressure energy into mechanical energy. Now that mechanical energy from the turbine is given to that of your generator, so that we are getting electricity as a output. Now last one and very essential type of power plant nowadays is nothing but nuclear power plant. So with the help of nuclear fission reaction, or we can say nuclear reaction, we are getting heat energy as output, and with the help of a kind of device, that is what we called as a reactor, we are getting some sort of high pressure steam, where water is being evaporated with the help of heat available within the nuclear reaction. So high pressure steam then after given to the turbine, and that turbine converts that high pressure energy into that of your mechanical energy, and subsequently, as if we have already seen, that generator takes that mechanical energy to convert that energy into electrical energy. So we can come up with some sort of conclusion that the electrical energy we are getting is from flowing fluid. That flowing fluid may be high pressure steam or water from high altitude. So these are very essential things. One more thing that we have to concentrate over here is there is a kind of device here we have is nothing but what we call as a turbine. That turbine converts energy which is available in the fluid. On the left hand side of the turbine we have fluid. In these two cases we have steam as a fluid, and here we have water as a fluid. So that turbine converts the energy which is available in the fluid into mechanical energy, so that on right hand side we can convert that mechanical energy into electrical energy. So here I have shown that particular thing with the help of this simple we can say kind of analogy. Now, what are the different forms of available in the flowing fluid? As if we have seen that electrical energy we get from is nothing but from the flowing fluid. So, what are the different forms of energy which are available in the flowing fluid? We will see that particular thing in a brief way. So, first thing is nothing but what we call as a potential energy. So, what is the potential energy? Mathematical expression for the potential energy is mgh, where m is nothing but mass of the fluid, g is nothing but gravitational constant, and h is what we call as a kind of we can say elevation through which that particular either fluid or body is supposed to transfer from higher elevation to the lower elevation. Okay, so here we have a kind of example related to the spring. So the water is supposed to transfer from high elevation to the lower elevation. So here we have a kind of energy available in the water is nothing but potential energy. Second form of energy is nothing but pressure energy. So you can see that here we have a balloon which is holded by the person, and when he is leaving that particular balloon, there is a kind of transportation of balloon from one location to the another location because of the thing that is what we call as a reaction of pressure energy. Okay, so as if air supposed to escape from that particular balloon through the small opening, there is a kind of thing that is what we call as a reaction happen within that balloon and that of your air which is available in the surrounding. So there is a kind of thing that is what we call as a reaction, and that causes because of the thing that is what we call as a pressure energy. Last but very most important form of energy is nothing but kinetic energy. So here mathematical expression of kinetic energy is given, that is 1 half m dot v square, where m is nothing but mass flow rate, m dot is nothing but mass flow rate, and v is nothing but velocity of that particular fluid. So here there is a provision of a kind of nozzle, and through this nozzle we can see that there is the escape of water at a very high speed. So this is what we call as a kinetic energy. Here is also we have a kind of evidence related to that of your kinetic energy. So this is all about the energy which is available in the flowing fluid. We are considering here all things related to that of your flowing fluid. Now we will see that how it is possible to convert the energies which are available in the flowing fluid into useful form of energy, that is what we call as a electricity, or we can say electrical energy. So there are two types of power plants. Already we have discussed such type of power plants: hydropower plant and thermal power plant. So here I have given two diagrams. These diagrams are actually, first one is related to the hydroelectric power plant and second one is nothing but thermal power plant. So we will see as if a kind of recapitulation related to the hydroelectric power plant that we are going to see, or we have already seen in second year thermodynamics subject. So see, here we have first type of turbine is, or we can say power plant is hydroelectric power plant. So you can see that water which is available in this dam is supposed to transfer through this pipe. That pipe is known as penstock. So in this penstock, the potential energies get converted into kinetic energy. Then after that, water is supposed to given to that of your device. That device is nothing but what we call as a turbine. So in the turbine, what will happen? That kinetic or pressure energy which is available in the water get converted into mechanical energy. So here there is a rotation of this turbine will occur. Rotation is nothing but what we call as the availability of twisting force, that is what we call as a torque, which is available in the turbine. Now that shaft of turbine is directly coupled to the generator. Here you can see there is a provision of generator, where that mechanical energy is get converted into electrical energy because of the rotation of these stator windings across these rotor windings across this particular stator winding, and cutting off, we can say, electromagnetic flux will result into generation of current, as if the basic theory related to the electricity generation. So what will happen at the end? We will have a kind of electricity as output. So that electricity then after is given to the grid system for further application. Now this water then after supplied to the irrigation purpose, for, we can say, basically different types of domestic as well as irrigation applications. So this is all about the hydroelectric power plant. Second type of power plant is nothing but what we call as a thermal power plant. In thermal power plant, you can see this whole assembly is nothing but what we call as a boiler. Okay, this is the lowermost part is nothing but a condenser. Here we have a turbine and here is the generator. So this is the general layout diagram of thermal power plant. Now in boiler, what will happen? Basically the energy which is available in the coal is nothing but chemical energy. Because of the oxidation of the coal in abundant amount of oxygen, there is a kind of thing that is what we call as a burning of the coal. So that burning of the coal will result into generation of the heat. So that heat is given to the water which is flowing through these pipes. Okay, so what will happen? That water will get evaporated and will convert into high pressure steam. Then that high pressure steam is given to the turbine. So in turbine, what will happen? There is an expansion process will occur. Expansion is nothing but what? Basically reduction of pressure from high pressure to the low pressure. But there is a kind of thing will happen, that is what we call as the transfer of energy. As pressure reduces, mechanical energy increases and you are getting some sort of rotation of this shaft. This shaft is directly coupled to the generator shaft where electricity is generated, and that electricity is given to the grid system for further applications. Then that low temperature and low pressure steam is supposed to given to this device, that is what we call as a condenser, where the steam gives its latent heat to the water which is flowing through this particular coil, and it get converted into again a low temperature and liquid form of basically water. So what will happen then after? That water again pumped to the boiler for the further cycle. Okay, so this is how a cyclic process will occur in case of what we can say thermal power plant. This one is the basic difference between hydroelectric power plant and thermal power plant. But one thing is very common in case of these two types of plant is nothing but what we call as a turbine. So turbine is a kind of device which converts the pressure, kinetic or potential energy of fluid into mechanical energy, and turbine is a kind of turbo machine. So this is the basic motivation to study this particular subject as if a turbo machine. Now we will see other machines which gives ease of life to human being. So there are different types of machines are there. We will see those type of machine. Turbo machine, basically pump. Here you have a pump. In the pump, what will happen? Water is being lifted from lower elevation to the higher elevation. So in this pump, what will happen? Energy, mechanical energy is given to the water so that it will get a kind of energy. Obviously, in case of lifting from lower elevation to the higher elevation, obviously we are increasing its potential energy. So this potential energy gained by the water by means of what? Basically device, that is what we call as a pump. So these are what we call as the power absorbing devices. And power plants, turbines are what we call as the power producing devices. Here is another type of device, that is what we call as the axial compressor. This type of compressor is used in various aircrafts, various jet engines, where there is to be compress the air before burning of that particular fuel. Okay, then after we have a device that is what we call as a fan. Fan is used for comfort condition, as we all know that particular thing. Blowers are used for various applications, as if I have shown here. For the cleaning of the garden, we are using blowers, as well as blowers are used in industrial applications also. So there are so many applications of such type of devices. That's why those devices are to be considered as the devices that gives a kind of ease of life to the human being. Now we will start the definition of turbo machine. So turbo machine is nothing but, or basically it is a kind of device where energy interaction takes place between flowing fluid and rotor vane, or we can say solid body, solid rotor vane, due to the action that is what we call as a dynamic action. So here we have a schematic diagram, basically very simple diagram. So here is a kind of thing that is what we call it as a transfer of energy from either flowing fluid to the solid rotor vane, or from solid rotor vane to that of your flowing fluid. But this actually causes due to the thing that is what we call as a dynamic action, and that will result into change in pressure and momentum, either pressure, either momentum, or sometime it will occur that there is a transfer, or we can say change of both the things, that is pressure and momentum. Okay, so we will see that particular thing in a very brief way. First of all, I know that there is need to understand the thing that is what we call as a dynamic action. So I am going to give you a very simple example. So here we will see this first example, that we are sitting in front of fan. The fan blades are rotating with some sort of RPM. Because of the thing that what will happen, we have experienced that particular thing, that air is supposed to blow on our body. Okay, so if we take an example of this fan only, the air which is behind this particular fan is in stationary condition, and air which is in front of fan is obviously in moving condition or in motion. So what will happen within this particular boundary of fan? Okay, so there is a thing that is what we call as a dynamic action. So what will happen, see, when that air comes in contact with rotating blades, they gain a kind of energy, or we can say kind of momentum is being transferred from moving blades to that of your air passing over that particular moving blades. So because of that reason, what will happen, that rotating body or rotating blade which has angular momentum, it gives its angular momentum to the air, and that air is supposed to gain some sort of energy, and that energy is nothing but a kind of kinetic energy. So that kinetic energy will result into making a kind of thing, that air to be in motion with some sort of velocity. Okay, so this one is first example. We will take another example also. Here we have this type of ancient waterway. Okay, so you can see that through this channel, water from higher elevation is supposed to transfer through this channel, and it comes to this wheel in such a way that when that water strikes the plates which are available on this wheel, you can see there is a provision of some sort of plates. So when that water strikes the plate, what will happen, there is a transfer of momentum. So water has a linear momentum, that linear momentum will get converted into angular momentum because of this structure. Okay, so angular momentum is nothing but what we call as a, basically linear momentum into radius is what we call as the angular momentum. So what will happen in that case, there is a conversion of that one form of energy into another form, that is the energy which is available in the flowing water is nothing but kinetic energy, and that kinetic energy get converted into mechanical energy. So we can now see the definition of dynamic action from these two evidences, that transfer of momentum to the fluid due to the motion of solid body. So from here in this case, in case of fan, the solid body, as if it is moving one, or which is in motion, which is in the motion, it gives its momentum to that of your fluid. So because of that, we are having a kind of action that is what we call as a dynamic action. Or another definition is transfer of momentum to the solid body due to the flowing fluid. So here in this case, due to the flowing fluid, there is a transfer of momentum to this rotating body. Okay, or either that particular body is in stationary condition or in rotating motion. The rotation causes because of what? Transfer of momentum. So that is what we call as basically dynamic action. So again I will repeat the definition. The turbo machine is a device where energy interaction takes place between flowing fluid and rotor vane due to the dynamic action. As a result of this, there is a change in pressure as well as momentum, or sometimes both the things, like pressure as well as momentum. Most important thing is that energy interaction always takes place in steady flow and continuous process. Okay, and there are very important thing that we need to remember for this subject only, or we can say as if we are considering the turbo machine as a definition, there are two important entities, that is nothing but solid rotor vane and flowing fluid. So we will see that thing in a very brief way in this particular subject, that is what we call as a turbo machine. Now, very important thing, from here after we will start our subject, that is what we call as a turbo machine. So before that we will see the course objectives. Course objectives are very fundamental ones, so I have highlighted some of the important things that we need to understand here. Basically our objective is to give a basic knowledge related to that of your different types of working principle of working of different types of turbo machines. There are different types of governing equations that holds the functionality, or we can say the working of that particular device, that is what we call as a turbo machine, and we are going to see its application also. Okay, to provide students with the opportunity to apply basic thermofluid dynamic flow equations to the turbo machine. So there are different types of governing equations that we are going to see. Apart from that, different types of thermofluid dynamic equations are also we have to apply to different types of turbo machines. So that particular part is rigorously taking into that of your steam turbine. Okay, so in the steam turbine we are going to concentrate over these particular objectives specifically. And last thing is nothing but basically to give you a brief idea related to that of your construction, working principle, and as well as to evaluate the performance characteristic of different types of turbo machine. So those turbo machines may be turbine or power absorbing devices. Next thing is nothing but basically course outcome. So apart from these objectives, we are going to see what we are going to expecting from this particular subject. So you must be able to understand or apply the thermodynamic and kinematic principle to the turbo machine. Students should be able to analyze the performance of turbo machine, their ability to select different types of turbo machine for given applications, and they are able to predict the performance of turbo machine with the help of model analysis. Now we will see the classification of turbo machine. So turbo machines are classified into two types, basically power producing machines and power absorbing machines. So turbines are generally called as a power producing machines, where energy is supposed to transfer. Just concentrate over this word or statement. In case of power producing machines, energy is supposed to transfer from flowing fluid to that of your solid body. Got it? And in case of power absorbing machines, exactly opposite will occur, that is from solid body to that of your flowing fluid. Energy transfer will occur from solid body to that of your flowing fluid. So first type of device is nothing but what we call as the power producing machines, in which turbines are being considered as if one of the important device. Second that we have seen is nothing but what we call as power absorbing machines, and that particular thing is basically different types of machines like pump, compressor, fans and blowers. Okay, so this classification we will see as if a kind of thing, that is what we call as the introduction to the syllabus also. Okay, so basically in section number 1 we are going to see of our SPPU syllabus. We have two sections. In section 1 we are going to see the power producing machines, and in section number 2, or major part of the section number 2 is related to that of your power absorbing machines. Some of the part of section 2, or we can say initial part of the section 2, is actually correlated with power producing machines, where we are going to see steam turbine. Okay, so major part is actually concentrated over the power absorbing machines. So first of all we will see the first type of turbo machine is nothing but turbo machine. So in first unit we are going to see introduction and fundamental equation. Okay, so that is what we are actually looking right now. This turbine has two types based on the working medium that we are using. First one is nothing but hydraulic turbine, and second one is nothing but what we call as a steam or gas turbine. So hydraulic turbine, where water is used as a working medium, and in steam or gas turbine we are using steam or gas as a working medium. Preferentially we are looking for only this type of turbine in this syllabus, that is what we call as a steam turbine. Okay, so in hydraulic turbine part, in section number 1 we have a kind of, we can say, syllabus structure, that there are 3 units are dedicated to this particular type of turbines, that is what we call as a hydraulic turbine. So unit number 1 to unit number 3 we have this type of things. Okay, so first unit is actually concentrated over the introduction and fundamental equation, etc., etc. In second unit we are going to see a kind of turbine, that is what we call as a Pelton turbine. This is a kind of impulse type of turbine. And in unit number 3 we are going to see Francis turbine and Kaplan turbine. Those are what we call as a reaction turbine. In unit number 4, this unit number 4 is dedicated to the steam turbines. Next classification is related to that of your power absorbing devices. So pumps and compressors are there, that thing we have to study, and we have 2 dedicated units for this particular, we can say, type of turbo machine: hydraulic pumps and air compressors. In case of pumps and compressor are classified into 2 types: hydraulic pump and air compressor, based on their working medium. So in case of hydraulic pumps we have water as a working medium, and in case of compressors we have air or gas as a working medium. So in unit number 5 we are going to see this type of device, that is what we call as a hydraulic pump. Generally it is known as centrifugal pump. The working principle is centrifuge only. Because of that reason such type of pumps are what we call as a centrifugal pump. So that thing we are going to see in unit number 5. Unit number 6 has 2 types or 2 parts. In first part we are going to see centrifugal compressor. So there is a very little difference between centrifugal pump and centrifugal compressor, is that only working medium. So in case of centrifugal pump we have water as a working medium. In case of centrifugal compressor we have air or gas as a working medium. Axial compressor is nothing but a kind of device where energy transfer will occur from solid body to that of your fluid in such a way that the flow will occur axial. That thing we are going to see in part B of unit number 6. Examination scheme for this particular subject is given as like this. It has total number of 4 credits. 3 credits are for theory and 1 credit is for oral examination. Examination scheme for theory, it has 30 marks of in-semester examination and 70 marks of end semester examination, and there is a oral of 25 marks. Now before starting the turbo machine as a subject, we will see some sort of recapitulation related to the positive displacement machine, because there are 2 types of devices or 2 types of machines. First one is turbo machine and second one is nothing but positive displacement machines. That thing we have seen in second year thermodynamics in unit number 6, that is what we call as the reciprocating compressor. So this is a kind of device, that is what we call as the positive displacement machine. So we will just take same example so that you will get a better idea that how positive displacement machine works. So positive displacement machine, here I have given a schematic diagram, or we can say the diagram which is in, we can say, action. Here we have reciprocating compressor. Now this reciprocating compressor is consist of a cylinder, then after a piston. This is a piston. This is crosshead and connecting rod assembly. That assembly is actually converts this rotating motion into linear motion. So because of that reason we have a kind of thing, that is what we call as a to and fro motion. Okay, there is a provision of suction valve and delivery valve so that it will allow air to transfer from one side to the another side. Okay, and there is a transfer of energy from lower form of energy to that of your higher form of energy. So obviously in this case we have transfer of mechanical energy to the air, so that air get a kind of energy, that is what we call as the pressure energy. So in suction valve, okay, now we will see that particular thing in a very brief way. So, or we can say working of the reciprocating compressor. So this to and fro motion is caused due to this crosshead and connecting rod assembly. When that piston moves from right hand side to that of your left hand side, or we can say a kind of dead centers, left hand, right hand dead center to that of your left hand dead center. These are what we call as the 2 dead ends, okay, or dead centers. So this particular motion, when piston moves from right to left side, or from left to right side, there is a kind of thing, that is what we call as suction will occur. So obviously there is no air available in the initial stages. So what will happen, there is a kind of thing that is what we call as a suction. So atmospheric air, we all know that any type of, we can say, air or we can say gas is supposed to transfer from one medium to the another medium if there is a kind of, we can say, pressure difference. So because of the pressure difference, atmospheric air is supposed to accumulate it into this particular cylinder. Now after that, when that piston moves from right to the left, the air, this wall at that time is get closed, this one is also supposed to be closed. So this air is supposed to entrap in this particular cylinder, and its pressure rises. Okay, as pressure rises, it is supposed to discharge from this particular discharge valve at a high pressure. Okay, so here is the thing that is what we call as basically transfer of energy from mechanical to that of your pressure energy of the air. Now you can see that this cylinder is a fixed boundary, but this piston makes that particular boundary as a moving boundary. Okay, so you can see this particular shaded portion, this colored portion, you will have a kind of idea related to that of there is continuous transfer of this boundary. That boundary is supposed to decrease and increase, decrease and increase. That's why such a type of devices are basically known as positive displacement machine, where there is a continuous displacement of the boundary will occur. That's why those are not, those are what we call as a positive displacement machines. Okay, so those having moving boundary. Now because of this moving boundary, or we can say because of this reason, the thermodynamic properties are changes due to the change in system boundary. As if we have a moving boundary, because of that reason thermodynamic, we can say, properties of the fluid are supposed to change. Okay, so that's why these type of devices are what we call as a positive displacement machines. And in case of protodynamic devices, or what we call as a turbo machine, we don't have such type of moving boundaries, but still they are working as if a kind of what we can say energy transfer devices. So after that we are going to see the difference between positive displacement machine and turbo machine. Okay, so we are going to see the difference, or we can say a kind of comparison of turbo machine with positive displacement machines. Okay, so basis of this particular characterization of turbo machine and positive displacement is given on this side. Okay, so it is started with mechanism of energy transfer. In case of energy, in case of turbo machine, energy is transferred due to the dynamic action, as if already we have seen that thing in definition of turbo machine. In case of positive displacement machines, we have just discussed about it. There is a transfer of energy due to motion of the boundary, that is suction and we can say expansion of that particular moving boundary. Okay, construction, if we consider the turbo machine, they are simple in construction with very less number of moving parts. But in case of positive displacement machines, there are large number of parts which we have to consider, and because of that reason they are very complex in assembly. Their manufacturing cost, obviously in case of turbo machine we have less number of components, its manufacturing cost is also very less. But in case of positive displacement machines, there is requirement of very high precision components, and which results into increasing the cost of that particular positive displacement machine. Balancing, if we consider a rotor, or we can say rotating part of the turbo machine, it is very well balanced one. That's why there is less vibration. But in case of reciprocating compressor, you can see over here there is a continuous to and fro motion, and because of that reason we will have a kind of high vibration may occur in the positive displacement machines. If we consider the speed of turbo machine has a very high speed, and that reach up to 30,000 rpm. So there are so many compressors, axial as well as centrifugal compressors, which are working at this particular speed. But in case of positive displacement machines, the speed is limited one, and it is not reaching beyond that of your 3000 rpm. If we consider the discharge through the turbo machine, so we are getting very high discharge. But in case of, we can say, positive displacement machines, the discharge is periodic one. Means what? If we consider this particular device, the complete 360 degree rotation of this particular crankshaft. Apart from that, first 180 degree is only for what? Suction purpose, and second 180 is for what? Discharge. So you are not getting continuous discharge. That discharge is interrupted because of this suction process. Okay, so half portion is suction, half portion is discharge. So there is no continuous flow of the water or we can say discharge will occur. So there is interrupted discharge will occur. So that particular type of discharge is what we call as a periodic discharge. Even though we have not seen this particular part, but as if a kind of thing of discussion, efficiency, if we consider the efficiency, turbo machine has very low hydraulic efficiency, and in case of positive displacement machines, we are having a kind of relative efficiency, that is what we call as the thermal efficiency. So in case of positive displacement machines, we have high thermal efficiency comparative to these turbo machines. But apart from these only, we have advantages of turbo machines over volumetric, mechanical and overall efficiency on these positive displacement machines. Means what? In case of turbo machine, we have higher volumetric, mechanical and overall efficiency as compared with positive displacement machines. Power to weight ratio in case of turbo machine is very high, but in case of positive displacement machines, it is very less. Applications of turbo machines, there are so many applications, from power plant with large capacity to that of different types of power absorbing machines, pumps, etc. etc. There is very large application. And positive displacement machines are more likely specifically in case of small power plants and automobile only. Okay, so positive displacement machines are used in small power application as well as automobile. Example of turbo machine: steam turbine, centrifugal compressor, pumps, etc. etc. Positive displacement machines are like IC engine, reciprocating compressor, etc. So this is all about related to the comparison of turbo machine with PDMs. So friends, we have discussed about the introduction of turbo machine. I have given you a very brief idea related to that of introductory part of this turbo machine. So apart from that, if you have some sort of feedback, and if you have any question related to this topic, you can ask me on this my mail ID. I'm really thankful to all of you. Thank you.